All right, fellas, let's get this Thanksgiving week of football started here with the Bears and the Lions. Now, look, let's just get straight to the point of this game because the last 23 seconds of this game told the entire story, and it was not really a good story to tell. I don't know who on the sidelines decided for the Bears that while there are 23 seconds left on the clock, you are in a fourth down situation, fourth and four. You are only 5 yards away from your field goal distance or your field goal range. That we should not use this timeout because the clock is ticking, and we should take our time to snap the ball and kill the clock. I want to know the decision process that was being made on the field and off the field all at the same time because to me it's quite surprising seeing how much poor time management really went on in these 23 seconds. Like I said, Caleb Williams didn't call the timeout. The coaches didn't call a timeout. They called a play that took 5 seconds to develop. They didn't snap the ball until there was at least 7 or 6 seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter when you know it's about to be over. Caleb Williams threw the ball out of his hand while there was 2 seconds left on the clock. The ball hits the ground because it was overthrown. No time left. Game's over. Now, if you did not think someone would be paying for this mistake, guys, it's a little bit crazy of a way to think because this type of mistake, even though you're not a playoff contender, is just unacceptable at the NFL level. You know, you're being paid too much money to make mistakes like this. These are beginner type mistakes. For these NFL coaches and these NFL players, someone should have caught on and knew what they had to do for clock management. But nobody caught on for the entire Bears staff. And of course, what was the result of all this? Head coach, knowing how big of a problem that actually is in the NFL. But for the Texans, man, for some reason they keep some of these games close. But like I said, there's something in the air with some of these division games, man. And this is another one of those. This is one of those games where they should have been able to run away with it. They clearly did not. Even after Trevor Lawrence goes out of the game, they only win this game by literally a field goal, 23-20. So CJ Stroud, he did play very well. He did not throw an interception in this game. Mac Jones did come in and almost outplayed CJ Stroud, actually, but not quite. He completed 20 passes on 32 attempts for 235 and 2 touchdowns. So what's weird about this is we have to remember that Mac Jones was a starter in New England for a few years, and I'm not the biggest fan of the quarterback, but he does know how to play the game. And as a backup, this is definitely a very dependable backup to have if you're the Jags. Now, at the same time, I hope they do something to help Trevor Lawrence get healthy and recover and get back to the field whenever he can, but more importantly, when he's ready. Just make sure not to rush back to the field too soon because, it's going to be much easier to get another concussion after that. But once again, another division game right here. Very tough to play. And the Texans still keep control of the AFC South, right behind them being the Colts. So I don't think there's going to be any playoff implications left over for the Texans inside the division, but they do have to win some more games to get uh, to maintain their placement inside the top four slots right now, which is exactly where they are. So they just got to keep getting the W's at the end of the game. The score doesn't really matter. It's the NFL, not college. So 23-20, that's still a W. That's all that matters. About the Colts and the Patriots. These are my boys here. The Patriots, like I keep saying, man, we got our future franchise quarterback right here. Anthony Richardson for the Colts, he's actually struggled a little bit in this game. However, it was enough just to allow them to get a 1-point victory over the Patriots, 25-24. So they still got the W. Give them their props. The Colts still definitely have hope being the second team in the AFC South right now to make the playoffs. They do want to get a couple more wins before the end of the season, especially in the division games. I don't know if they will be able to beat the Texans. I got to actually go back and check to see if they already played them twice. If they have not, I don't know if they can beat them the second time around in case that hasn't happened yet. As for the Patriots, when it comes to our quarterback, man, we're in good hands. Definitely need some more pieces in the skills positions though to help him out, especially at receiver. And you still need another running back to give Stevenson some break and make sure he's not too beat up for running the ball too much. And you definitely need some offensive linemen. So I really hope offensive linemen are going to be the focus of this NFL draft for the Patriots. Chargers, Falcons. Wow, if you are the Falcons right now, you're like, wow, we paid Kirk Cousins $130 million, huh? Um, for Kirk Cousins, man, this game is not acceptable. There's no way you throw four touchdowns. Sorry, that's wrong. Four interceptions and nothing else. What was actually going on here today, man? He just woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something, or he forgot who his teammates were, or he just wanted to keep testing himself like Andrew Luck used to see how many picks he can throw and still win the game. Look, I don't know what was going on here, but there's no excuse for throwing four picks to the defense and some of them being taken back for pick sixes. It's just not acceptable. Justin Herbert did not even throw a touchdown in this game at all. And the score for this game still ended up being only 17-13. So not even a big spread, but enough to go, what is actually going on here with Kirk Cousins? Is he just on a decline? Do the Falcons have to start thinking about this? Is it time to go to their drafted quarterback that came out of Washington? Is it time to do that? I don't know, but hopefully they're not throwing away the season. They are currently 6-6, and they can still definitely be in the pursuit of that NFC South, but they're gonna have to start making decisions very quick. There are only 6 games left in the season. Chop chop. Not even 6. Sorry, 5 games left in the season. So take taco, man. Make a decision. Next up, we got the Steelers and the Bengals. Man, this game was a shootout. I mean, from the get-go, this game is a rivalry. It's always going to happen, especially for all the fans in Ohio and Pennsylvania that are right there at the border that want to go watch these games, regardless if it's in Pittsburgh or in Cincinnati. The two cities are not too far apart. So this one was a banger. Seriously, it really was, man. Shootout from the get-go, like I said. Both teams came out actually showing that they really, really wanted to win this game. Cincinnati put up 14 in the first quarter. First 14-7 in the first quarter. Next thing you know, it was 27-21 for the Steelers. They were just like, you know what? We're not losing the lead for too long in this game. We just want to take it and kind of hold on to it. So it's 27-21 already going into halftime. Coming out into the second half, a couple of mistakes are made. The game ends up 44-38. And the one interception from Joe Burrow honestly made all the difference. But Russell Wilson, what a day, man. 29 for 38, 414 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Joe Burrow, 28-38, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns. So Russell Wilson only completed one more pass than Joe Burrow, but had 105 yards more in completion. So you can kind of see the difference in the offensive efficiency there. And then when it comes to winning the phases of football, offense, defense, and special teams, Pittsburgh won all of that, and they dominated the game. And, when it came to third down efficiency even, Pittsburgh was 4 for 9, Bengals were 4 for 8. So you see how closely, these two teams actually played each other. I mean, it was a tough game, man, but listen to these penalties as well, man. 9 penalties for the Steelers at 103 yards. 11 penalties for the Bengals, 101 yards. I mean, they were just on top of each other the whole game. It's almost like you're not going to beat me on any stat. They really just kind of wanted to be right there. But ultimately, Pittsburgh definitely runs away with it. Russell Wilson keeps winning. Um, I don't know what to say about this anymore, man. I guess we're going to learn a lot about Pittsburgh when they play the Eagles here soon. The Battle of Pennsylvania. And hopefully we get to see Russell Wilson win a couple of games in the playoffs, man. I think the Pittsburgh hopeful will love that. I think they will cherish him for that. We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see. Now we got to go over the Ice Bowl. That's what I'm calling it, man. The 49ers and the Bills. This game right here, This is one of those where if you play on defense and you play for the 49ers, you're not prepared to run in the snow the way you would think. You can't really plant your feet because if you do, you may slip and fall going the wrong direction. While a lot of these guys actually in Buffalo are used to practicing in the snow and they know their foot placement, what to do, where to get traction, and all that stuff. It's a big difference. When it came down to all of that, it was all about who could outrush the other team because passing the ball was very, very tough in this kind of game. And ultimately, even when you pay attention to everything, when it came to rushing yards, the Bills had 220 yards of rushing to 153 for San Fran. Passing yards, 152 for the Bills, 86 for San Fran. See how tough that was? And it came to rushing, oh my God, man. The Bills just kind of put on a show with James Cook, 14 carries, 107, and Ray Davis, 11 for 63. I mean, it was just nonstop. It just kept coming. It just wouldn't stop. Christian McCaffrey actually also played very well, and Jordan Mason as well for the rushing side on the 49ers, but it was just not enough. The snow kind of took over. In the north, you play in the elements. This is just part of it. This is exactly why no team wants to go to Buffalo in the playoffs, especially if you're the Chiefs. Try to avoid this at all cost. I know the Chiefs lost the head-to-head, but just hope and pray Buffalo loses another game because if you have to go to Buffalo in December or January to play, in January to play in the playoffs, let me tell you, these snowstorms are very common. They're tough to play in, and it can make it an ugly, disgusting game, but the Bills know how to win in those. The Brownies and the Broncos. Wow, Jameis Winston almost threw for 500 yards, y'all. I know you guys witnessed this game, man, but look, he did throw 3 interceptions, which were kind of, you know, which is kind of what capitalized the win for the Broncos because without those 3 picks, the 3 picks probably wouldn't have been as bad if 2 of them were not taken back for 6. That's 14 points just given up on interceptions. One of them was not his fault, though, because clearly the corner fell on the ground and the receiver just never touched him. He just stared at him. This is the NFL. Just because he catches the ball and falls to the ground does not make him down. You do have to touch him to down the man. So that's just a mental mistake. But Bo Nix, he's turning into a leader of that team. I think now they're definitely seeing him as a leader. But in all honesty, the story of the day for this one is the comeback to Denver for Jerry Jeudy. 9 catches for 235 yards and a touchdown. What a day. He outperformed the rest of the team on receptions and yards total by himself. Now, they did not get the win, and that's okay. But Jameis Winston really performed tremendously. I think a lot better than anybody ever expected him to perform. Like I said, he threw the ball for 497 yards, almost 500 yards. And he did a great job. If I'm the Browns, something about me may be definitely looking for another quarterback next year because I don't know if Deshaun Watson is ever coming back to Cleveland, even once he's fully recovered. And I don't know if Jameis Winston will be my future franchise quarterback. At least I don't think so. Right now, he's playing like he looks like he could be. But I'm definitely going to get a quarterback in the draft, having him learn from Jameis Winston, from someone who has experience in the league. I'm not saying that the newcomer is going to be the starter. Jameis Winston can be the starter. That's perfectly fine. But you need to have someone sit behind talented quarterback like Jameis Winston and learn from them and see the game from a different perspective. Soak in as much information as they possibly can before Jameis goes because that's a big key to have, man. That's a big gift to give to a young quarterback coming into the NFL. And that will help them quite a lot.